Murphy's Law is an adage or epigram that is typically stated as anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and in some formulations it is extended to anything that can go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible time.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Jujutsu Kaisen and Disasters. Name a better fucking duo. Actually, wait, never mind. I can name a better duo. You and that subscribe button. We're trying to reach 30k subscribers before the month ends, so help a brother out. Anyway, fun fact, did you know Gojo supposedly died at chapter 236, and then 236 days later, he quote-unquote returned, which is pretty interesting, to say the least. There's an account on Twitter that follows how many days that Gojo has been dead, which is pretty interesting. It also makes you think that Gege has been purposefully and intentionally, with all of his writing, doing things like this all the time. Except there's just one little thing that bothers me, and that is Kenjaku. You see, I mentioned this in my previous video. Feel free to go check that out if you wish. But I've got a nasty feeling that Kenjaku, he's not completely gone or dead. You see, he's played such a massive role within the story so far that almost all of the events that have transpired in some way, shape, or form can all be traced back to him in some way. Every time something is going well in Jujutsu Kaisen, Murphy's Law kicks in, and it's typically Kenjaku at the center of it. And when Yuji was about to finish off Mahito, Kenjaku arrived and stopped him by absorbing him, and then thus set into motion the Culling Games. When Gojo was close to finishing the disaster cases in Shibuya, Kenjaku arrived and sealed him with the biggest sucker punch he's ever had. When Megumi finally reconnected with his sister, she turned out to be Yorozu, which happened to be a direct result of Kenjaku's plans. So as it stands, Kenjaku, Gojo, and Murphy's Law, they all kind of go hand in hand, and even in Kenjaku's supposed death, he managed to transfer the control of the merger over to Sukuna, and that is something that is yet to come to fruition at this point. But as it stands right now, we have a Sukuna whose body is all sorts of messed up by Yuji standing before him with the help of Todo and his re-boogie woogie tearing Sukuna apart, almost limb from limb, like he's tearing chunks out of that boy's chest. But it's at this point the quote-unquote ghost or quote-unquote spirit of Gojo is shown to Sukuna with eyes that are unmistakable, according to the editor's comment. The wording here is very intentional, I believe. You see, when Sukuna met Kashimo, he referred to Kashimo as a departed spirit within the official translations from Viz, maybe a rare John Werry, I think. And in TCB's translation of the latest chapter, they also refer to Gojo as a departed spirit. Now, I believe these wordings are super intentional. Again, it is all dependent on the translation that you've read, but for the sake of my theory and my agenda here, you know, that's what it's about. Anyway, I'm going to assume that these both specific translations, they both just sort of translate because they use ghosts or spirits, and is there really much of a distinction here? I mean, in one TCB translation, they do use the word revenant, but is there really a distinction here? They kind of all loosely mean the same thing regardless. But you see, Kenjaku and the Six Eyes users, they've been at war for a long fucking time right now. And in fact, Tengen outright told us at one point, Kenjaku in the past has lost twice to sorcerers of the Six Eyes, and the second time he took no chances and killed the Star Plasma Vessel and the Six Eyes less than 1 month after they were born. Now, maybe I'm grasping at straws here, maybe I am, but 1 month has actually passed since Gojo was freed from said prison realm. Now, you could consider this a birth of some sorts here. It also works out how 1 month after Gojo was freed, or, you know, birthed, I suppose, the Six Eyes was also killed. He was apparently killed. But this panel continues on to say how, nonetheless, on the day of the merging, the Six Eyes and the Star Plasma Vessel appeared. After this, Kenjaku switched up plans. Now, what if Kenjaku had planned the same thing, but different this time? What if Kenjaku had planned to have Gojo and Sukuna fight, knowing Sukuna would win with him having the 10 shadows under his belt, and then Kenjaku could take his body? You see, we know Kenjaku is capable of healing a body that's been fucked up after death. We saw him using Geto's body after it had been beaten up by Yuta, and it was missing an arm. He was fucked up after Yuta's love beam here. But this theory goes a little bit deeper and deeper, and again, remember Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible time. Sukuna somewhat kind of referenced this as well with Todo's arrival in the most recent chapter, saying how Todo has arrived when he least wanted him to. That is something going wrong at the worst possible time. As it stands right now, the Yuji is looking like he's close to finishing the fight with Sukuna with the help of Todo, and at the moment of him ripping chunks out of Sukuna, suddenly an unexpected human being, thing, person arrives on the battlefield. And these two moments right here, Gojo being frozen in his tracks, seeing Geto, and Sukuna being frozen in his tracks after seeing Gojo. A very, very similar moment. Now, what if it would be phenomenal if it was actually Kenjaku behind both of these events. My entire point here is that Kenjaku, as it stands, was last seen with Yuta. He'd been beheaded and he'd been stabbed through the head, but yeah, he was still some able to talk and move around. He had a K spirit grabbing him by the ponytail and throwing his head around, you know, like flashbacks to Jin Itadori, I imagine, for him. Anyway, Kenjaku was also the same guy who taught Sukuna how to become a cursed object. Now, what's to say Kenjaku hasn't done the same thing throughout the Cullen games? Keeping a piece of his soul himself separate from it, you know, from everyone else, and in the event of his main body's death, that second piece awakens. That second piece could have very well attacked Jujutsu Kaisen headquarters here while everybody was away from base. You see, Kenjaku's incredibly skilled, and every single heavy hitter would be focused on Sukuna. Even Tengen went on to say how Kenjaku is a formidable barrier user, second only to himself, and something even Kenjaku noted, by the way, is that the heavy hitters, they're going to have their attention drawn to Sukuna, and while they're doing that, he'll be free to move around freely, however he wants. That would be the perfect moment for Kenjaku to move on Jujutsu Kaisen headquarters here. That would have been after his defeat to Yuta, and you know, there's a lot of things going on with this story here. That would have been the perfect moment for him to move there and potentially steal Gojo's body. I think the whole point of this video here is that there is a lot going on in this story right now, and I refuse to believe Kenjaku is out of the race that easily. I just don't trust this whole Gojo potential revival thing. I know there's been a whole lot of theories here. There's a whole lot of things going on, but I don't know, man. I feel like when I look at all the pieces here, I can see something, but I just can't quite connect the dots. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm fucking losing it? I might be. I'm just a crazy old man. Am I just a crazy old man shouting at the fucking clouds? Who fucking knows anymore? But anyway, this series has done irreparable damage to my psyche. But anyway, you can actually help fix my psyche by liking and subscribing to the channel, because we are trying to hit 30k subscribers. In fact, we're actually on track for that by the end of this month, which would be pretty cool. So if you're not already, subscribe. Science shows that if you subscribe to this channel, contributes to massive PP energy growth. Those are just the facts. That's not made up in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, that's everything from me. As always, go fucking drink some water. Go tell somebody you love them. And as always, I will catch you guys all in the next one. Which fucking love. Big fucking kisses. Peace. Oh, also, by the way, we're doing Shonen Sundays tomorrow. It's a live stream. It's actually scheduled on the channel. It's where we like stream, we watch, we read all the latest chapters on the Shonen website. So if you want to come hang out, we'll be reading the new Kagurabachi, Jujutsu Kaisen, Sakamoto Days, and possibly whatever else. I'll maybe take some recommendations from you guys if I'm up to date with them. We'll watch them. So come hang out. Anyways, catch you guys on the next one. Much love. Big fucking kisses. Peace.